Welcome back, everybody, to Unconditional Surrender, the Me, Myself, and I playthrough of the main event scenario. Game is designed by GMT Games, designed by Salvatore Vasta. We are getting ready to go into the June... Oh, dear, what did it make big? Can't figure out why it keeps making that big. We're going into June 1943. The Russians were somewhat successful in the south over here. They eliminated 3 German infantry units. So the Germans will be scrambling to try and figure out some way to defend here and keep it from becoming a wholesale rout. But we need to start off with the weather phase. Under the new optional rules, what happened in May can't happen in June. Excuse me. We had clear, fair weather everywhere. And if you look at the weather chart over here, there's only 2 choices, so it's automatically the other choice. So everything will be poor for 1943, June 1943. So that takes care of weather. Don't even need to roll dice. No one wants to declare war. We're going to go into the economy phase. I will 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So you can freeze frame that, do the math if you don't trust my calculations. The Germans are up to 34. But they are going to give 2 points away. They're going to give 1 to Italy because Italy needs to try and do some stuff. And they're also going to give 1 to Hungary because I need to move probably both Hungarians. Don't think I need to move both Romanians, but I do need to move one of them. So, and I think the Finns and the Swedes are fine with the points that they have. So we'll be starting at 32 with the Germans. The British are up to 32 because they pushed their factory loss marker down to the 1 box. So with their trade and their Lend-Lease, they're doing just fine. They have 32. And the Russians, same thing with their Urals factories and Lend-Lease. That's 13 factories all by themselves, and then they get 3 more from the ones that they own minus the strategic losses. So everybody's got a lot of production points to spend here. Strategic warfare phase. We start off against the Russians. It's a 1 to a 2. If you look at the faction card, I do have a submarine. I don't think it's time to use it against the Russians. I like to save it to try and use against the British to recover anything I might lose against the Russians, since it's such a close thing here. And the Russians don't have anything to play. So it's just die rolls. The Germans roll a 1 plus 1 is a 2. That's bad. The Russians roll a 1 plus 2 is a 3. That's just as bad. Plus 1 is a 2 to a 3 is a diamond. So we can't go any lower on our national tracks. We're already in the 1 box, so that just stays there. This makes the Germans think a little bit. Let's get over here to the C zone. The British could play their partisans to have my die roll, and I could play my subs to have theirs, but I won't gain anything by that. And I'm already at 34, so if I lost a factory, I would still be at 32 next turn, and I would be able to play my submarines then to try and recover. So, taking a quick look at the turn track, I won't get a submarines for quite a while, till September. So I think I'm going to save it to possibly use in the July turn, when it might matter more, to try and keep myself up around the 30 mark. Since I got ahead of the Russians there on that die roll, when we get to combat commitment, the Germans are probably going to say no. The British, by the same token, have to look at it. If they use their partisans and roll badly, they won't have their partisans to try and pull off. I'm looking at an invasion of like Brest or maybe even Nantes to try and just get on the continent. Brest is the most attractive because it takes away a +2 from the Germans if you can get there. And if I can get there like in September, then in poor weather, the Germans will have less likelihood of being able to actually force me out. So I'm looking at it from that standpoint. So I'm going to hang on to my partisans marker for this turn. So when we get to combat commitment, nobody commits anything, and we just roll dice. And the Germans are at +3 because they have Brest and Norway. And so the Germans roll 3 plus 3 is a 6, and the British roll a 6 plus 2 is an 8. Combat results table, 6, to an 8 is a diamond. We're all at 1, so we can't go anywhere, so that kind of takes care of that. That's strategic warfare. Strategic movement, the Axis. Because of the debacle in USSR, I was going to move this garrison down here to try and help garrison Italy, but I'm going to have to take him. It's the only one I really have that I can afford to run away with, because surprise attack markers are coming soon for the West. So I'm going to grab this guy, and we're going to run over here to the east real quick, someplace. Probably right in front of Kursk, I think. Kind of sitting in front of the cities as best I can, for the most part. There's really not a good place anywhere when you look at it, but I have to defend something somewhere. I suppose I could move him up to like outside of Smolensk or Velaluki. Yeah, I think I'll leave him in Kursk for now. All right, that's my strategic movement. The West has a strategic movement, getting prepared for shenanigans if they can get away with it. So they're going to move this guy here. He's going to come out of the fort, gets a faction. There we go, strategic movement marker. Drop that on there, and we take this whole thing from Tobruk and we drop it in Port Said. And before I put it in Port Said, I'm going to go ahead and put the convoy out so I can keep track of sorties easier. So that's the West. And in the East, I really don't see one for the Russians. You could try to play games, retreat an airplane so the Germans can't necessarily knock one out, try and rebuild it. But I think if you just make the Germans use up their air sorties to nullify your airplanes, you're doing pretty good. That's kind of the way I play the Russians in 43. Is it's just kind of like I don't outnumber them yet. As soon as I get my 5th airplane, then I have a chance. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have my 5 airplanes, and that pretty much takes up everything from the Germans to cut down my airplanes. It's the way the math works out. So therefore, tends to nullify my 5, but that means they don't have any airplanes to defend, so my assaults and things should go off better because of that. So, no strategic move for the Russians. Whoops, I skipped right over the operations phase for the Axis. Let's go play in Italy first. Thing I have to look out for is I have nothing in Rhodes, okay? And I have nothing in Cagliari. And if they wait a couple turns and have 2 surprise attack markers, they could basically invade both of those places, take 2 will points, which is all the Italians have left, and kaboom, all of Italy, all the Italian armies and everything just go away. So we have to do something about that. So we're going to try to spend a point and activate here. Where's my national tracks? They're there. So the Italians are going to spend a point there. Maybe if I can grab the counter. They're going to activate this garrison unit. And then we'll activate the sea transport, this convoy, and this fleet will escort it. So they're all together. They go into Sea Zone 20. The Americans are 2 sea zones away, so they can actually intercept there. So they will. The Americans start off at +2 because they're American, and then -2 for the weather. And then the Italians are -2 for the weather and -3 for sorties. So they're just hoping the Americans roll low. And the Americans roll a 2. That's low. So the fleet takes a sortie. Is that the fleet? Yes. The fleet takes a sortie. The American fleet takes a sortie. And they get through. So now they move into Sea Zone 19. And I can intercept twice because I have an airplane and a fleet. So I'm going to intercept with both. The defender gets to choose. I can't remember if it's the defender or the attacker gets to choose which goes first. I think it's the attacker chooses which one to go first. So I'm going to do the fleet first. I'm at a -1 to his minus ridiculous. It's like -6. So let's see if my fleet can get through on his fleet. 2 again. So I didn't get through the fleet there, but I did give it a sortie. Then my airplane will go in. It will be at -1. It's +1 because it's American aircraft, and it's -2 for the weather. And of course, they're at like -7. And the only reason why I'm doing this is I want to run up their sorties so much that they can't like leave Cagliari. Because since they're in C-Zone 19, even if I knock them out, they're going to be able to land in Cagliari. So I'm just trying to run up some sorties here. So, the airplane rolls. A 2. -1 is a 1. So I did run his fleet up to sorties. Took a sortie on the airplane. And that's horrible. So they do manage to get in here. This guy gets in there. That was 1-2 to the Z-zone and then into the thing. Since they're still in their movement, they're going to keep moving. So they go back out to 19. And now the Americans have to decide whether it's worth it to go after the fleet. They'll get through the fleet. Is it worth it to try and run up sorties on the Italian convoy? Because a garrison in an island port is always in supply, so he doesn't have to supply it. So I'm wondering if I should even bother running up sorties. I think I'm not even going to bother to run up sorties. His fleet's been knocked down, so the best he'll be at is a -4 when I get my surprise attack marker. So I think we'll let him go. So I go into 20 and I don't intercept, and they land back in Genoa. And this guy now has 4 sorties. So the interceptions didn't work real well. And that keeps the Italians, even if he invades Rhodes, he at least has to make it a contested invasion at Cagliari. So I could throw my armored in there, and then I'd be at 0, and he'd be at like +3 or something. So that's the idea behind that. Okay, well that was exciting. Italians are in a world of hurt, quite honestly. They're going to have to activate another point here. So they'll be down to 9. Go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They want to be in there because the Americans could actually invade there. So if I put a garrison there, they could be like at +3 to 0. So this way it'd be +3 to +2. So not as good a chance to pull off anything against Rome. And let's see, I'm going to do 3 and 4. So I'm going to do like 7 or 6. Probably 7. So I can probably move another unit. I don't know. Do I have anything to build? I don't have any Italians to build at this point. So I'm going to go ahead and move this guy as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, just because it feels right that I should have something in Rome. Okay, that takes care of Italy. I'm going to take another couple points off here. So I'm down to 8 with Italy. So I could redo both my fleets or my airplane in a fleet or something. I don't think I need to move anything in the west for the Germans. At some point, I'm going to have to think about this whole invasion at Brest. I don't think there's anything I can do about it. If I try to commit enough force there to stop that, I let other things happen that are probably worse, like bomb markers. So for right now, we're going to kind of ignore that. And in poor weather here, the Germans have to try and make some kind of decision to withdraw. That's the trick here, is where do you withdraw to? Rostov is probably going to be taken. So the question is where do I want my armor when that happens? So one of the things that's easy is the Romanians. So let's do the easy one first. And you get the Romanians out of the line because holy pre-holy, that's a pain. The Germans could try to make a valiant stand here because it is poor weather. But I do need to get the Romanians out because they're a weak link. I don't think... Yeah, I don't have any ground support markers, so I have nothing. So they're going to activate. I spent their point. They're going to go 1, 2... 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's go put them in Bryansk. Just to prevent any running around there. I don't want to have these guys in front of this. So I think what I'm going to do with the Hungarians is just to slow down any breakthroughs that I'm not seeing. Since I have the points to spend, I'm going to go ahead and move them down here in front of Ostrich. So there's one. And then this guy is going to move actually into Orel, I think. There we go. Just going to put the airplane on top of him. So I can remember that I have an airplane to do something with. So that's the 2 Hungarians. The Hungarians go down there. All right, now we got to try and move some Germans around. I could try to make a valiant stand here. I don't know that it's a good idea, but part of me says I should try. So I'm going to try. I'm going to activate the Panzer for 2. And he's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. And into the hex with the airplane. I just want to get the airplane on top. This infantry will go 1, 2. So that's another one. So now I'm down to 29. I'm going to do some shifting up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So he can go 1, 2. He'll go there. The armored unit will actually go there. This guy will go 1, 2, 3, 4. And this guy will go 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so a little bit of shifting of the line. The garrison will go up and hide in front of Kharkov. This guy moves 1, 2, 3, 4. No. 3, 4, 5. Go 5 there. This infantry goes here. 1, 2. This armored goes. Whoops. That infantry goes 1, 2, 3, 4. This armored goes there. I should go take off my points, shouldn't I? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Should down 6 more. Down to 23. And this guy goes 1, 2, 2. Oh, yeah, that's right. The armored was supposed to go 1, 2, and this guy's supposed to go there. I was like, this doesn't look right. That's what I'm supposed to do. And then this infantry goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, back to there. So now I got to count again, make sure I got it right. So Germans started at 32, and they moved 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, because there's an armor in there, right? So that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So they should be at 22. That went off. That's close. Before I go any farther, let's see if I can do in the Russian aircraft here. The Germans are a net of -2. +2 because they're German, -4 for sorties. Oh wait, it's poor weather. So I'm -4 sorties. So it's just an exchange here. So we just exchange. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. It's here in the north. Where is he? I've got things up. I can't see what I'm moving. Oh, here he is. Hello. Put Romanians on top. This airplane should be on top, and the sorties should be on top of that. Okay, and then this one goes up 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and he's going to actually do Bologoya because he's within 7. And then this guy is only a -2 because he's -2 for sorties, -2 for weather, so that's -4. But he's +2 because he's German, so he's a -2. So if I roll like a 5 or a 6, I have a chance of I will get 2 for 1s on Kalinin, and or then a 6 for Moscow. So we're going to go for Kalinin first. He's at -6, -4 for sorties, -2 for weather. So I need to roll a 5 or a 6 for the Germans. I rolled a 5, so I get a 2 for 1 split there. Get ahead of the sortie game. And then over here, I need to roll a 6 to get the same thing, because now I'm -3. And I rolled a 3, so I didn't get that. So I will have to take 2 sorties to negate the Moscow aircraft. So I did manage to get them all negated, and I still have 1 sortie left here for the sort of the center, which I'm kind of worried about because of this armored unit's kind of hanging his butt out. I'm not sure if I want to do that, but I really don't see. I could move this 1, 2, 3, and then he could move to here, and I could move that armored into there and that armored to there. I think that we will just go ahead and take a chance on the 4th Panzer. I can use my aircraft on him. So, yep, that's the Germans over here. Now, do I have anybody that's not in supply? If there's somebody that's not in supply, then I have to do something about getting them in supply. 1, 2. This guy goes 1, 2 back to 2754, so he's okay. He goes 1, 2 over here across the river, so he's okay. And that puts everybody in supply, and I am done with the Germans' operations phase. What's my timer say? My timer says I still have quite a bit of time. I'm going to do a quick pause here and check my time before I do the supply phase. So, be right back. Okay, so I've got like 5 minutes left. I thought so. So I need to just check supply for everything around the board. The big one's the Italians. This guy in Caligari, garrisons on islands in ports are always in supply. So he's in supply. This guy over here, he doesn't have a invasion marker, so I'm going to let him be at low supply for now to save my sorties for next turn when I'm really going to need to do it. Everything else is in home country or down a rail line in home country. So everything's in supply. That's basically it, kids. I'm done with everything I'm going to do. I don't need to keep that airplane in supply in Norway because I don't need to do that right now. So, yep, I'm done. That is the Axis operations phase. Wow, that was totally uneventful except for the little sea zone adventure that the Italians had. Oh, that's too large. So that's the Axis June 1943 operations phase and beginning of turn segments. We will return with the Western operations and possibly the Soviet operations, depending on how fast the West gets through, in the next video. So this is Dren608. If you like the videos that you're seeing, please subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. Please leave me comments. I do try to respond to them when I get to being able to see them. And we will see you next time at the Western operations of 1943, June. Bye-bye.